I never imagined that a single night could completely change how I viewed my marriage. Laura had been my partner for 6 years, my confidant, my anchor, the person I trusted with my deepest vulnerabilities. We had shared apartments, late-night drives, and countless small rituals that made our life together feel steady, unshakable. But one evening, I discovered the truth. She had been seeking excitement elsewhere, betraying the very foundation we had built. It started with subtle signs. Late-night texts, unexplained outings, and the warmth of her smile reserved for moments I wasn't part of. At first, I dismissed them, telling myself I was overreacting. That love required patience and trust. Yet, over time, the hints grew bolder and harder to ignore. And then that night, I found undeniable proof. Photos, messages, conversations that confirmed my worst fears. Laura had been chasing thrill at the cost of our relationship. I didn't yell. I didn't storm out. I simply sat there, letting the weight of betrayal settle in. My heart ached, but I refused to let anger cloud my judgment. I had learned long ago that impulsive reactions only make things worse. So I waited, observed, and planned my next move carefully. The next morning, Laura approached me with her usual bright smile, completely unaware that I already knew. She chatted about her day, laughed at small things, pretending as if nothing had changed. I stayed quiet, calm, almost unnervingly so. She hesitated, sensing something was off. "Are you okay?" she asked, trying to pierce through the composure I had wrapped around myself. I simply nodded, letting silence answer her. That evening, I made my decision. I wouldn't beg her to stay. I wouldn't plead for apologies or explanations. I told her calmly, "Laura, I need some space. I think it's best if I leave for a while." Her smile faltered, confusion flashing across her face. "Leave? What do you mean?" she asked, a nervous edge creeping into her voice. "I need time to process this. I can't stay here knowing what I know. We're done for now. I'll see you later. But you need to understand why I'm leaving," I said, my voice steady, unwavering. I packed a small bag and left our apartment quietly, feeling a strange mix of heartbreak and relief. For the first time in years, I was acting out of self-respect, not fear of loss. The streets were quiet as I drove, replaying every detail of the betrayal in my mind. Laura had sought excitement and thrill, but she had underestimated the consequences. I wasn't naive, and I wouldn't let my emotions be toyed with. Leaving wasn't punishment. It was clarity. It was a way to show her that actions have consequences, and that broken trust cannot be ignored. For the next few days, I stayed away. I didn't call. I didn't respond to messages. I didn't check in. Part of me ached to hear her voice, but the larger part knew that absence would communicate the way of her choices far more effectively than any confrontation. I wanted her to feel the emptiness left behind when excitement comes at the expense of love. On the third night, a knock at my door shattered the fragile calm I had built. I opened it to find Laura standing there, tears streaming, hair disheveled, hands trembling. She didn't speak at first. She just looked at me, vulnerability etched in every line of her face. I stepped aside silently, letting her in. For a moment, we just stood there, the tension thick enough to choke on. Finally, she whispered, I made a mistake. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I never wanted to hurt you." Her words were raw, unpolished, and completely honest. I could see the fear in her eyes. The fear of losing me, of realizing that some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. I didn't rush to respond. I let her sob quietly on the couch, feeling the truth of her regret. My heart ached, yes, but there was also a strange clarity, a sense of strength that came from not reacting in desperation. I had left her. I had shown her that betrayal carries weight. And now, she was finally confronting the reality she had ignored. When she looked up at me, eyes pleading, I said simply, "Laura, actions speak louder than apologies. You wanted excitement. You chased it, and now you see the cost. If you want to stay, it won't be because I forgive blindly. It will be because you earn it by proving that trust can be rebuilt, not by hoping I forget." Laura nodded, tears still streaming, but something had shifted in her gaze. She recognized the truth. she could no longer deny. She had wanted thrill and escape outside our marriage, and now she faced the consequences. I stayed calm, letting her absorb the weight of her choices without interruption. Silence, I knew, could speak louder than any lecture or argument. "I can't promise it will be easy," I said finally, my voice steady. "Trust doesn't return overnight. Just because you regret it now doesn't erase the hurt. You broke the foundation of what we had. You need to understand that before we even talk about moving forward." Her voice trembled, soft and sincere. I know I've ruined things, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. I just can't lose you." I studied her for a long moment, weighing the desperation and honesty mingling together. There was no anger in my tone, no rage in my posture. I wasn't punishing her. I was offering a chance for redemption, a way to prove she could respect the love and trust she had nearly destroyed. "You'll have to show me," I said simply, "not just with words, but with actions. Apologies without change are meaningless." Over the next few hours, we spoke carefully, honestly, without interruption. Laura admitted everything. The lure of excitement, the casual deceit, the selfish choices she had made. I listened not to punish, but to understand, to gauge whether the person I loved still existed beneath the mistakes. Her vulnerability was real. Her regret was palpable, and it revealed a willingness to face the consequences, a recognition that trust must be earned, not given. By the time the night ended, the atmosphere between us had shifted. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't fully healed, but it was honest. Laura grasped that love and trust are fragile, that excitement cannot replace connection, and that betrayal carries a far greater cost than fleeting thrill. As I watched her cry, tears of remorse, understanding, and hope, I realized something essential. Sometimes leaving is not the end. It can be the beginning, the start of clarity, accountability, and perhaps a second chance. That night, I slept not with bitterness, but with quiet resolution. Laura had sought excitement. I had left, but when she came back crying, she learned that love is not a game. Trust is not a given, and when broken, it demands courage, patience, and action to rebuild, if it can be rebuilt at all.